What's up, BooTube? I am currently at a different location. I'm currently in my aunt's house because I had to babysit a cousin of mine who is very quiet. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. He was like really quiet, and I was like, "What you doing?" Anyway, he's just staring up at space, so we're good. Anyway, this is my reaction rant to The Flash Season 3, Episode 21, titled Cause and Effect. Hang on, guys. Sorry, my cousin was making noise, so I was just making sure he didn't, do anything to hurt himself. Anyway, I did a recording for this episode, but for some godforsaken reason, it vanished, right? I'm gonna tilt the camera. Anyway, yeah, hang on. Better place to put it. Up here. Can I put it up here? No? Okay, we're gonna have this angled shit going on. Hang on. I'm trying to get a better angle here. And then move the tree. It's literally leaning against a plant, which I think is kind of funny. But anyway, hang on. My notes are right here. I saved my notes on my tablet, which is pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, the video, I don't know what happened to it. It just simply disappeared. So, let's do this. Cause and effect. We finally found out how this whole Savitar's future Barry thing happened. Apparently, Savitar explains to our Barry that he is in fact a future Barry, but he is actually a time remnant that 2024 Barry created when he was fighting Savitar. So basically, 2024 Barry created Savitar while fighting Savitar. If that doesn't make sense to you, trust me, it doesn't make sense to me either. Anyway, after all that happened, apparently, you remember when Barry went to the future, everyone in 2024 was like in a funk. Caitlin turned into Killer Frost. Killer Frost pretty much froze and disintegrated poor Cisco's hands. Henceforth, he's no longer Vibe. Joe was pretty much abandoned because by Barry, not only did he lose Iris, Wally he fought Savitar, got himself crippled and pretty much catatonic. And then there's Joe, who lost his daughter to Savitar, his son became crippled and catatonic because of Savitar, and Barry just abandoned him, right? So everyone was in a funk. And so here's this little time remnant of Barry, who's probably just trying to get some attention from the team, and they're all in a bad funk, right? So I'm kind of not surprised that the team ended up shunning this poor time remnant, because Team Flash shunned him, and he became so depressed, he literally ran back in time and ultimately became Savitar. If that makes any sense to you guys whatsoever. But anyway, he also explains that he needs to kill Iris so that Barry will be so much in a funk that he'll be forced to create Savitar in the future, right? That's why he killed in the future thing. That's the reason why he killed Iris to begin with, so Barry will create him. Anyway, sorry, that's my cousin's dog, Swisher. The door's literally like right there. See? And I think he hears me, and now he's crying and like pawing at the door. But anyway, Cisco proposes a way to stop Savitar is to stop him from creating new memories. And the only way to do that is to... Sorry, I'm readjusting the camera. The only way to do that is to stop their Barry from making new memories. Because every time their Barry makes a new memory, Savitar gets the same memory. Because remember, Savitar is... Yes, he's a time remnant, but he's a future Barry. So everything that Barry's learning now and all the memories, pretty much just feeding it to Savitar. So he's like, maybe if Barry doesn't make new memories, Savitar can't learn our strategies, right? Which is a pretty good idea in the beginning until they used this contraption that Cisco, I'm not sure if he built it, but yeah, the contraption pretty much couple of miscalculations caused the contraption to pretty much cause Barry to lose, not just make new memories, but he loses his memory in general. He doesn't even remember his whole name. And I thought it was pretty funny, like, there was an itty bitty little Easter egg, a shout out to another character, during that whole Barry loses memory, because they're like, Barry, calm down, and all that stuff, and he's like, my name's not Barry, and he's all looking at his, driver's license, and he's like, Bartholomew Henry Allen. That's a horrible name. And then he goes off to say, are you sure my name's not Bart? Because Bart feels more natural. And I'm going to stop for you guys right there. If you guys who haven't read the comics, spoiler alert, Bart is a very particular name, especially in the Flash family. Bart Allen, B-A-R-T, if you can't hear me pronounce it properly. Bart Allen is in fact a speedster, and not just any ordinary speedster. Bart Allen is actually the grandson of Barry Allen, and he's also a speedster, just like his grandpa Barry. And when we first see him, he's in a superhero identity as Impulse, and later on he goes from being Impulse to becoming the next kid Flash after Wally West becomes Flash himself. So it's really cool to hear the name Bart literally come out of Barry's mouth, especially even though it's like he has no memory. The fact that he said Bart, it was beautiful. He literally just said his grandson's name. And it makes me think that, are we going to have Bart show up from the future and help them out somehow? Maybe this season or next season? Because, the Flash did get renewed for season 4. So, are we going to see Bart Allen, a.k.a. Impulse, soon? Are we? Is that our, first little hint to that? Because if it is, that's a beautiful little hint to that. Amen to the writers for putting that in there. But anyway, because Barry lost his memories, our current day Barry, Savitar loses memories because, they're the same person. It's just Savitar is a future Barry time remnant. And apparently, Savitar losing his memories also had its own ripple effect, because apparently when Savitar lost his memories, something interesting happened. Before I get to that, though, Killer Frost shows up. And she's like, offering to help Team Flash get Barry's memories back, and it's cool seeing her civil, but we obviously know that she's only trying to help them get Barry's memories back, because once Barry gets his memory back, Savitar does, right? So we all know she's just doing this to get Savitar's memory back, because she's working for him now. But it was cool seeing her interact with Cisco and Julian, especially when Cisco was reminiscing about, their first moments working together on the particle accelerator with him, Caitlin, Ronnie, and of course the original Reverse Flash, who was H.R. Williams at the time. Anyway, it was a really cute moment between the three of them. Technically two of them. Julian was just there and listening into the story. But it just shows how deep Cisco's bond is with Caitlin, and that friendship is so amazingly strong, right? Because you can see the confliction in Killer Frost's face just a tiny bit, but you can still see it when he reminisces. She also semi-reminisces with him too, which is pretty cool. But anyway, when they first see Killer Frost in Star Labs, before she started helping them, when she made the offer, Wally attempted to go after her. He tried to fight her, but then this is what I was talking about when the interesting thing that happened when Savitar lost his memory. Savitar losing his memory causing a ripple effect, because apparently when Savitar lost his memory, it resulted in Wally losing his powers. And the reason for that is because if Savitar loses all his memories, that means Savitar never gave Wally his powers, apparently. And so, yeah. Barry, no memories. Wally, no power. Savitar, no memory. Wow. But apparently Barry discovers later that he does have, the team, they discover he has his powers and they're helping him train and everything. And he's all like giddy, like remember the first time he became the Flash? He was like, oh my god, I have speed powers. It's the return of that reaction, basically. Anyway, hang on. Let's see where I left off. Oh yeah, and if I remember correctly, there was a moment where, Joe's girlfriend needed, Barry to, I think, testify in court for this, pyromaniac dude named Lucius Coolidge. And of course his testimonies failed, which led to him being released from jail. And of course, what do people who are obviously guilty and they get released? What do? Immediately cause trouble again. And that pretty much is what happened, because he starts a fire, basically. And while that's happening, Killer Frost, Cisco, and Julian managed to create some sort of like device thing. I think it was a device. I don't remember that much because I did not get to see it when it premiered. So this is just by muscle memory. But they do develop something to help Barry regain his memories. But for some reason, like, it wasn't going off, right? And so they figured he needs one trigger memory to help with the boost. Sorry, I thought it was offline. And so Iris. This was one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen, because Iris reminisced a memory of when Barry was first brought into the West household after his mom died to come live with them. And we also saw the memory where Iris got out of her bed because she heard sounds coming from downstairs, and it turns out the sound she heard was poor little Barry on the couch crying his eyes out because, he lost his mother, his dad went to jail. And she literally just sat next to him and put him on his lap and just, not really pet him like a cat, but you know what I mean, like, comforted him. And what she said next really lined up my heart, because she's like, I knew from that moment, I think we both knew from that moment that we've fallen in love with each other. And I was like, oh, and then the power of love gave Barry his memories back, basically. And he was trying to pretty much stop the fire, but of course he can't do it alone. But since Barry got his memories back, so did Savitar. And what happened? Wally got his powers back. So Barry, with the help of Wally, they were able to stop the fire. And a tiny little detail was HR and Tracy ended up developing a romance. I'm not gonna get too much into it because no. But anyway, we just found out though that Tracy did manage to complete the Speed Force trap. Which is amazing because if you remember from 2024, Barry said that Tracy did not develop the Speed Force trap until 4 years after Iris died, right? And 2024 and currently 2017, right? So it's like 7 to 8 years now in between the timelines. And again, 4 years after Iris died. So she's pretty much 7 to 8 years early completing that Speed Force trap. And she mentions to the team that in order for the Speed Force trap to work, it requires a high amount of energy. So it makes me wonder how they're going to do that. Maybe they're going to have like multiple speedsters. Maybe Jesse will come back. We get Jesse, Wally, and Barry. All that energy. Maybe they'll get the Speed Force trap. Anyway, the final scene pretty much cuts to this room. And apparently it shows like alien technology, and apparently it's the alien technology from the Dominators. Did I say denominator? I'm sorry, guys. Speech impaired, man. I'm horrible. Anyway, remember the Dominators when we had that beautiful 4-part episode with Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends, and the aliens taking over? Apparently some of their alien tech is seen inside this room, and we also see King Shark. I'm only guessing King Shark is like being bodyguard to this technology or something, because he was like shown as well with the technology. I don't know. But anyway, I love the West Allen flashback moment. I love the speech that came with it about how that's how they fell in love, in a way. I love the bond. I forgot to mention when Killer Frost left after everything was done and over, Julian pretty much confesses his love for Caitlin, and at the same time, I forgot who else talked. I think it was Cisco or Barry, or maybe both. But Julian definitely said, I love you and all that stuff, but for a moment, Oh my god, I'm running out of time. I will probably talk about it some other time, okay? Bye, guys.